Hello and welcome back to Life Well Booked. Here again, you have Britt and Steph,
Nice to see y'all.
and we are so happy to have you all back with us. And today we're talking about turnovers and the same day flip and how we run a really tight operation and how a tight operation is a must, especially if you have more than, I would say, 10 homes.
Yeah.
Turnovers happen fast and they happen consistently, especially in the higher end seasons. And so with a turnover, I'm going to run some math over real fast, is a host with 120 bookings. Now we have how many bookings per year?
5,000.
Okay, so we're going to use our real numbers. With our 5,000 bookings per year, that completes 5,000 turnovers. That is 5,000 opportunities for us to either screw it up or get that 5-star review from our guests.
True that.
So those are big numbers. And if you're not running an operation at 5,000 turnovers, but you still have 10 turnovers or 20 turnovers, that's still a solid opportunity to get really good reviews and or really not good reviews.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we can run a really good operation, but it's our cleaners and the managers behind the cleaning system that keeps it going for us.
Yeah.
They're our
First impression.
front line. We need them. And it's like the cleaners are probably one of the most important pieces to Airbnb short-term rental businesses.
True that. And scale does help. The more you have, you can keep more cleaners around. It's not as inconsistent, if you will. But the other thing that's very interesting is seasonality. So we definitely have some months where we have 350 cleans, but we have months where we almost have 600 cleans. So you have to keep people happy all year long. We're lucky because the housekeeping teams that work with us work only with us. And we have enough business for them to be able to make that commitment, which is nice because it allows for better training and better experience.
Well, and the consistency. It allows for us to have the
Yes.
consistency part.
Yep.
So the turnover isn't just a chore. It's actually a really well-built system.
Yep.
And it's all about building it, documenting, delegating, and then scaling. And that's what you and Brendan have done very successfully in my
Well, thank
eyes.
you.
And I think in the eyes of a lot of other people is you guys have really done really well at that piece.
Well, thank you. One reason for that, though, is we have a great housekeeping manager. So again, with scale, you can hire people like housekeeping managers that kind of keep track of everything that's going on with all these cleans, these cleaning companies, everyone for us is a 1099.
Right.
So we don't hire them as employees on our team. We hire them as 1099 contractors, and they can accept or reject work, et cetera, et cetera. Most of the work falls between 11 and 4, 11 o'clock being checkout time, 4 p.m. being check-in time. So you have this really limited 5-hour window. But the turnover is really, really important between guests for many reasons.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So the first segment of this whole entire episode is going to be why turnovers define our review score. And I mean, I feel like it's pretty
obvious.
Cut and dry. It's pretty obvious.
Impression.
Exactly. First impression is always the most important. And where does that come from? That's from our cleaners. And of course, like the design piece is important, but honestly, people don't really, I don't know. I think maybe there's like half and half, right? Some people would walk into a short-term rental and be like, wow, it's really beautiful. Maybe most would, but then the next thought is, how clean is this place?
Well, sure. People look around right away. I will say the design is really important, but they already are sort of preconditioned to look for the design because they kind of saw it in the pictures and they kind of know what to expect.
Yes.
So they're already thinking it's going to be great. But you're right. When people get into a new place, the first thing they start doing is opening drawers and pulling things out of cabinets and making sure bathrooms are good. And that's why it becomes so critical.
Right.
Why it's so critical, though, is if something is awry, and really I have to say both the housekeeping and maintenance area, because they look for both.
Yeah.
If one thing is awry, even the smallest thing, it could be a missing potato peeler. It starts them to think that they need to make a list.
Yes.
And then you get a list. Oh, it didn't have a potato peeler. And oh, by the way, this throw pillow wasn't in the best shape or whatever
Right.
their
There was
list
a
is.
stain on the corner of
On
it.
the
It's like,
corner of some carpet somewhere that is pretty insignificant and really is not affecting their guest stay. But again, that's why it's so important. That one thing that they find starts that process. If they don't find stuff, then they no list.
right.
Then they enjoy their time. Even if they find something later, actually, it usually is overlooked. Like, oh, we're having such a good time. It doesn't matter.
Right. Like,
But
oh,
that initial list is the one that's always killer. So we have to play into the first impression.
so how long do you think that first impression lasts for the guest? So the minute they check in, how long do you think their eyes are searching for?
First hour.
Okay.
Honestly, it's not an all night and all day thing. When people find things along the way, small things, it could be that potato peeler wasn't
Right.
in the first hour. They're like, whatever. They send you a note and say, we need one, and it's
Right.
fine.
They kind of just settle in and they're fine.
They're fine at that point. So but that's first hour of the initial, like, hey, what does it look like? What does it feel like? Let me touch surfaces.
Right.
People just want to make sure
Now I'm
they're in a
going to
clean
start
place.
feeling what the countertops
Right.
feel like.
And even a place that's decorated maybe in a little bit more traditional or older style can be super clean.
It can.
And it has to be super clean. So that's the key. Old doesn't mean dirty and vice versa.
And I
Older doesn't mean dirty.
almost said having a newer house that maybe had some cleaning issues would be okay, but that's still not okay. It's like, no, it's definitely not okay because we have an expectation that clean is clean.
Clean is
And
clean.
there
And
is a standard of the clean. It's not, oh, it's a newer home, so they'll be fine. No, it's every house, whether you were built in the 80s with the 80s furniture still, or you're a brand new 2006 home with brand new 2006 furniture, you must stay exactly how it's supposed to be, clean.
Yeah, the standard has to be 5-star or beyond. It has to exceed your expectations, especially on the cleaning front. So that's why cleaning is one of the most important things.
Right. So when turnovers start to scale, so when you go from those 1 property to the 5 properties to the 20 to the 220, what is the most important thing that starts happening in the whole entire process?
Well, we've sort of grown in that way, so we've seen it all. You sort of go from ad hoc cleaners, and maybe you get to know someone and they do some of your homes when you have a small amount of properties, and that's great for a while, but then you grow bigger than they can handle, or because you're only with one person, their lives change and they move on to something else, and therefore you're kind of stuck in the weeds. So
Right.
I would say one thing that is to have some diversity and have multiple opportunities for different people to clean the houses for a variety of reasons. One, so you don't get stuck with nobody when you really need it, big or small. You really need to make sure you have enough people to move around and make sure you got those cleans and those turnovers done. The other thing is when you move people around, different cleaners see things in a different way. And so even though the standard is still clean, one of our cleaners might organize the throw pillows a certain way that is maybe better than the other team, or might notice something that over time you've been in the house so many times you don't see it anymore. So again, having the growth and having different people being able to clean and growing and scaling with a bunch of different cleaning opportunities is what I think is really important. So we have certainly done that.
I think that's a key takeaway from that very comment is if you have short-term rentals and you have the same cleaning team cleaning, maybe throw in every so often a different team. Find a different cleaner. Just be like, hey, can I have you clean my Airbnb every 10 cleans? I'm going to have you come in because cleaners are human and they get used to things looking a certain way, not realizing. So when you bring someone else in, it brings a whole level of different
newness,
eyes.
different eyes, different eyes. So
they see things like, oh, I noticed that there's some dust up there, or I noticed that looks a little dirty, or this needs to be fixed or replaced. And it's like, oh, that's perfect.
Right. One
Cool.
cleaner might say, oh, I got that shelf last time. And then new cleaner would obviously be up there again. So that's the example of why it's important to have some diversity. But also in the growth factor is once you have some cleaners that are more dedicated to your company and you have enough properties that you can dedicate some cleaning teams to your property, the training becomes that much better. You can really train them on the way you want it done for Elite Vacation Rentals or whatever your company's name is. When you're kind of ad hocing, it's a little bit harder to get them to do everything you want. And I think it's important to note that an STR cleaning is much different than a typical house cleaning.
This is very true. Let's talk about that for a quick minute. What's the differences?
So differences are the house has to be perfect every time, right? All the laundry has to be done every time. There's no room for something not to get done or the fridge not to be done. When in a typical house cleaning, like when my cleaners come to my house, they don't have to wash the refrigerator every single time, right? They come enough times and I'm not a mess that it doesn't make any difference and all my stuff's in it. But in this particular case, all of those appliances have to be cleaned top to bottom every single time. So depending, no matter how they were left, the laundry has to be done all the time. Patios have to be completely done, wiped down, swept off, all of the above. Grills are another big one that have to be done every time because, particularly here in Arizona, people like to grill out and the grill can't be a crud show when they get there.
Can't. Like our grill at home could be, or it could be a little messy or dirty because it's like
we could take care of it before we make the next thing.
Right. And we're not like cleaning the chrome on the outside every single time. We're like, cool, fine. It's fine.
But in this case, it has to be like really guest ready every single time. And so those are some examples of some things that typical cleaners that just do normal house cleaning just don't even know about or aren't trained on doing. How to make the beds very specifically as well. This is not a homeowner's request on how they like it done. And a lot of homeowners, my cleaners at my house don't make my beds either because I do that myself, right? They're doing everything else.
Right.
But in this case, how they make that bed, what linens they put on that bed, how things are tucked, how all of those things are training issues and very hotel-like.
Yep. It's so true is that when you are looking for a cleaner, especially in short-term rental, you've got to make sure that the cleaner understands what Airbnb short-term rental is like because it's not the same. It is not the same. You cannot hire a house cleaner that just cleans houses. You have to hire a cleaner that is very well trained within short-term rental because that house has to look like the photos do.
Every time.
And it's very important for the cleaners to know what that house is supposed to look like and go back to the photos and reset. It's a reset every single time. It's a whole home reset.
They have to have some discernment too when things don't look good. In a typical house cleaning, nobody would have discernment about my house, whether they like my bedspread or not, or whatever. But really in this particular case, they have to have some discernment when things look bad or they're shabby or they got stained or ruined or this or that. So they have to have discernment enough to pull that stuff out of the house, out of the inventory and take some pictures, really.
It's so true. So when you're building out your procedures, and we're going to call it the standard operating procedure, how were you able to orchestrate that? How were you able to put that together saying, hey, this is what our standard is and this is how we're going to operate?
A couple different ways. First, we do have a written document that we train people with in English and Spanish. We have it all laid out. So our standard operating procedures are obvious to them in writing.
Okay.
So that's number one. But that is not nearly enough. But at least it gives them an idea. We have to do on-site training with everybody because we have to show and tell every single time. We also require them to document their cleans.
Okay.
So very different than another part of our SOP is you have to document your clean, which means let me take pictures of things that aren't good. Let me take pictures of all the things that are good. We have a very rigorous housekeeping inspection report.
Okay.
And the housekeeping inspection report allows them to be able to upload photos, answer questions, but it is a room by room, area by area, detailed list of things that are expected.
Okay.
So I think that's super important.
And then when we go to other homes, different homes, not every home is the same.
No.
So how do you orchestrate, how do you do that? Is like, hey, here's the standard, but hey, here's this home cloud. Cloud requires this, and this. Like, how do you break that down to them? Or does the cleaner group know that?
The inspection report is done as a standard by room, by property first. And then we actually have specialized section of that inspection report for those specialty items in those houses. You made the example of cloud, a very big house, has a big toy room, blah, blah, blah. It would require some different things things could have different kind of fireplaces that need to be cleaned out in a certain way, et cetera, but they're not in every house. So we have a specialty section that's really talks. So it's really important that you get your inspection organized by house.
Okay.
Not
so
by
it is by house.
Yeah, there's some general, but
Right.
it has to be very specific.
Yeah, because we have some homes that have some very specifics to them. And it's like
Absolutely.
You would have to know that, and you would have to know what you're looking for, like in that house.
I'll give you the other example is those specifics can also include weird ceiling heights and all kinds of things. And our job is also to make sure the cleaners have everything they need to be able to get to high places or get to low places or get to filter areas that are odd in some cases or whatever those asks are. We have pizza ovens out there. We have like all kinds of stuff. So they just have to know, and we have to supply them with all of the stuff that they need to be successful when they get there. They don't bring it all.
Right. Yeah, that's super true. How often do they have to change the air filters?
Well, at Elite Vacation Rentals, we do two things. We have our general cleaning protocols, right, that we just talked about. Our first line of defense is our housekeepers go in and clean. Behind the cleaners, though, we send an inspector.
Okay.
So the inspector is really the one changing those filters.
Oh, okay.
And so that's sort of how we've broken it out, like clean and check for damages for the cleaning teams, because they really need all their time to do the laundry and all that stuff. So it's kind of hard for them to be doing a ton of extra jobs.
Okay.
Even with the things I mentioned, grills and this and pizza ovens and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we keep them focused on the clean, and we keep them focused on just first look at damages because they're in the house a lot.
Right.
But the inspector comes behind them. And in our world, our inspector does all of those odd jobs, filters, fridge filters. They do softener salt. They do propane refills. They blah, blah, blah. So that's how we do it. And it also depends on the house and the kind of air filter, but typically once a month.
Okay.
To answer your question in a really long way, about once a month.
Once a month.
But the inspectors do it.
Okay. Perfect. The cleaners do not do it. Same day flips. Those are big ones.
Yeah.
It's not just a turnover. It's a turnover on speed.
Yes.
Because you have a very short window, hoping that the guest left at the right time, hoping the guest left the house in an okay manner.
Yeah, that's true.
A manner that is not in disheveled spirits. And it's like, oh no, we have a little bit of a problem because we have a check-in at 4. And how are we going to get all this done, right? So a same day turn, if you don't know, is a check out at 11 with a check-in at 4 p.m. So that's a very short period.
5 hours.
5 hours.
Period.
To clean the whole entire home and have it 100% ready before the next guest arrives. 11 to 4, that's our window. What if the property's bigger than just a normal 3-2?
Well, typically, if it's that big, which we have some like that, we just reduce the checkout time to 10 a.m. So we have that one extra hour. That would be one way to adjust a little bit to just give yourself a little grace. So now you're 6 hours instead of 5. Not that much when you have to do that much laundry usually.
Right.
So it doesn't help that much. But at Elite Vacation Rentals, we're very committed to taking same day same day turns.
Right.
And we will do same day turns on all of our homes because we don't want to miss any opportunity for our owners.
It's true.
We do have some protocols in place when maybe the housekeepers get there at 11 or 10 and things are more involved than they originally were going to think.
Let's put together.
Let's put it together. But we typically call those houses red alerts.
Okay.
And we have a little food chain that people notify us about red alert homes. Because we're a little bit bigger, we have other teams we can deploy to add staff to that house to get it clean, to make sure we get the turnover done.
Okay.
Occasionally we take laundry off site would be another way that we can make sure we get it done. But we don't say no to same days. The worst possible scenario is we just can't get it done in that 5 hours. And we have to call the next guest and say, here's what's going on. Can we buy you dinner?
Right. And we've done that.
And we have done it. It doesn't happen very often, but it can happen. And as long as people know what's going on, typically people are not freaked out by that.
Right.
Like
It's
you're
all
being
about-
honest, and it's a private home and they know that. And many of them don't get there right at 4 either. So there's some
True.
grace on both ends. But we know that our time is 11 to 4.
Yeah. And that's important to note is if something happens on your same day and the house is not ready, is call the guest coming in
Absolutely.
and let them know right away, just to give them the heads up, because they just rather know than show up like 30 minutes prior to and, hey, your house is not ready yet. Like, wait, hold on. How did you just figure that in the last 30 minutes? Like, couldn't you have told me that hours ago? We could have planned something or
Exactly.
did something. So be very transparent with your next guest coming in.
100%.
And look, people understand.
People understand typically. And you're right. And sometimes it's just a matter of, hey, we're just not quite finished yet. If you could let the housekeepers finish up for the last 30 or an extra 30 minutes, that would be amazing. You can even enjoy the backyard.
Right.
Well, but please let them just finish. We want it to be great for you. And here's what happened and why. But you're right. Communication is everything.
It is. Now, do we have a linen program?
We don't. Actually, we do all of our linens in the house.
Okay.
And the linens are all the owner's linens. So we've looked at that many times, and we probably will look at it again. It comes up quite often. But we actually use the owner's stuff, and we keep the owner's things nice, and we keep them replaced, and we
Yep.
keep them good. But we do all of the laundry in the owner's homes. So
Okay.
again, that's why it takes a little bit longer too. Lots of laundry in a very short period of time.
Right. Okay. Do we have a supply kit for our cleaners that stays in the home, in the like owner closet, that they have supplies to clean the whole entire home, keep it fresh, keep it
No.
ready?
So, and here's why. And it's not a negative. Many of them have owner's closets and some things like that, but we actually handle supplies a little bit differently.
Okay.
Our housekeepers have all of the supplies that they need because they pick them up from a storage facility that we manage each week for their next week worth of cleans.
Okay.
So they are really bringing the things to the house instead of us taking over closets and having to maintain closets in the homes.
Okay.
So we have a protocol where on Wednesdays, our teams come to a particular place that, again, they pick up everything they need for the week, and that's how we handle supplies. This keeps owners out of the Costco closet program, us calling them saying, hey, we need this or that, or you're out of paper towels, or we're out of paper towels, or whatever.
Right.
We keep everything in one offsite storage, and we make sure they have everything they need for the next week.
And that seems to work really well.
It does work really well.
Okay.
Today's Wednesday, as a matter of fact, if you didn't know. And
It is.
And our housekeeping teams are all headed over to storage today.
Because it's Wednesday, and that's what they do on Wednesdays.
They do on Wednesdays.
They do that on Wednesdays. Okay, so we already talked about if a same day turn fails, like what happens. We communicate, talk to the guest.
Yeah.
So just communicate, talk to the guest. If something is going on, bring them into the loop pretty fast. And most of the time, I think the best advice would be don't try to look like you're perfect to the guest. Be real. Like, hey, this is what happened. Our team's on it. We're doing our best. Just wanted to let you know, because if people realize that you're real, I think, and you're not just trying to be like this, like, oh no, we're perfect, we got it all.
No, not at all.
Like, just be real.
Be real. And if they do have something to say, it's really about how you fix it.
Right.
It's how quickly you react, etc. So I wanted to say too that I think one thing that's really important with housekeeping teams is, look, it's very easy to get caught up in the this is wrong and that is wrong and here's what they said and why did they say this and blah, 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 blah. It's really important to make sure they know how many out of those 500 cleans a month actually have awesome review comments about how great the cleaning is and how they felt comfortable about it. But positive feedback to your housekeeping teams, I think, is the most important thing. It keeps them motivated. We even have a housekeeping cleaner of the month program. And so we have a little team program, and we offer a bonus each month to the housekeeping cleaner of the month. And they take some pride in getting that award and making sure, and because we make it known that that's who it is. But it creates a little competition, and it also creates some positivity, which I think is important. And I honestly, we could do better at it too.
I mean,
but it's important that you have to tell them how awesome they're doing. All in addition to those occasions where maybe someone has to go back or you have to fix something.
Right. It's so true, because they really are busting their butts.
Busting, driving, busting everywhere, all over the Arizona, Phoenix Valley.
Right.
Frankly.
Yeah. And so yes, they do really well. We have done an amazing job at creating a cleaning team and creating the structure and keeping it moving, honestly.
Yep.
I couldn't be any more proud of our team and what you guys have
Thank you.
built,
Us too.
because yeah, there's other programs out there of how to get your cleaners and stuff, but of course we use Streamline for our whole system. But spending that time to build it, which you've done,
Yep,
has been amazing.
And thank you. And
You're welcome.
maintain it and make sure people are positive. It's also important that if people are not doing as good a job as they used to or whatever, you retrain and give them opportunity to do better. And then sometimes you bring in new groups just to freshen the
pot. Right.
But honestly, many of our housekeeping teams too know each other now. They work together. There's occasions where we need one group to go over to another house for those red alerts or something.
Right.
They do it for each other. So creating a team environment, I think, is important. Even though it's kind of a solitary job in a particular house, you still have to create a team.
You really do. It's cohesive too. So through this whole entire podcast episode today is, if you don't have an operating procedures to your cleaning,
Right.
you need to get that done. You need to write it out. You need to sit down, think about what it should look like, because your cleaners need to know what the process is. You can't just expect them to go into a home and say, hey, go clean that. No, you need to tell them what your expectation is and what it needs to look like and how to do things and what to do if there's a red alert, what to do if there's something wrong with the home, how to document it, how to put it into the system. So there really needs to be the front end training, because you can't expect somebody to go in and make it a perfect home to give your house a 5-star review for the guest if you don't train. So train.
Technology, use technology where you can. Technology is important. It's also important for your owners. They like to see sometimes the pictures from the inspections or whatever, so that they know you're on top of things.
Right.
So I think technology is important. But you can also see that there's so much more to an STR cleaning than a standard clean.
Yes.
If somebody comes to my house, I write them a check, they leave, it's fine. A little bit more involved.
Yeah, they're not
There's
taking pictures.
They're not taking pictures. Nobody's documenting. Nobody's getting on an app. Nobody is nothing.
There's damage on the nightstand here in this corner.
Nobody is.
Nobody cares.
No.
So hire the right people, have the right plan in place,
build the team,
and just monitor it, revise it, take a look at it, have people inspecting. But if you do those things, you really will set yourself up for success on those same day turns and the massive amounts of turnover cleans that do happen in 100%. A year in any short-term rental that's successful.
100%.
Do you have anything else to add today?
No, I think that's great advice. Remember, hire a housekeeping manager. If you got enough properties, that becomes really, really important. And also get in the houses yourself.
Yes.
Because it's not enough just to have housekeepers and inspectors go, or a housekeeping manager. Get in the houses yourself as an operator.
And that's true. You and Brendan do go out to the houses, put eyes on things.
You have to.
We have John, who's our inspector. He's not our inspector. He's our
maintenance manager. But he even notices cleaning things sometimes. Or we all are.
And then I'll pop into houses and see things once in a while. I'm like, oh, I wonder why we have not replaced the welcome mat. Well, because the cleaners have been in and out and forgot that the welcome mat was looking dingy. You know? And so it's important to have
fresh
eyes, multiple people in different levels of the business popping in to take a look at things, because it keeps it fresh for everybody.
100%.
If you guys have any questions for today, if you have questions about property management, if you're tired of managing your own property, and this episode sounds like a lot of work because you're just getting into property management and you're like, I don't think I want to do this, reach out to us. We have got this on lockdown over here.
Yep.
We do really well. We do have mess ups. We do mess up sometimes, but we own those mess ups, and those mess ups are so far and few between that all the other good outweighs the small blips of things that we sometimes miss or things happen.
We recover well.
We do recover well, and we always recover. So if you have questions, please reach out to us. Don't hesitate. We are so happy that you're here with us today, and we're just here and happy just to be able to share our experience and everything that we've learned over these lots and lots of years of short-term rental.
Thank you. And
You're
thanks
welcome.
for watching Life Well Booked.
Yes, have a beautiful and blessed day.
Bye-bye.
Peace out. Thanks for being here on Life Well Booked. If this episode fired you up, made you think, or left you feeling inspired, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Until next time, keep showing up big, living with intention, and building a life that stays well booked.